The LA Galaxy's 2026 couldn't have gone off to a worse start. Riqui Puig is done for the year, and so is the main focal point of the LA Galaxy system. With this injury, Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy must adapt. And in this video, I'm going to show you how the LA Galaxy will adapt, or how I think they will adapt with the new 3-2-5 shape out of possession and a 4-4-2 shape in possession. Two very modernized styles of football that you see all across Europe that has been revolutionized by Pep Guardiola and Mikel Arteta and a whole host of great managers that have come into the European game. The LA Galaxy are a team that thrive in transition, but also live with possession. So in this video, I will show you how they do that. But before we do that, let's go back. Let's go back to last season, and let's go through some of the stats and the reasons of why the LA Galaxy must make this adaptation. Obviously, we know the basic principles. The Galaxy sucked. They went through a giant winless streak, but there were things behind that, and some of that falls on the tactics. Let's run through some of the stats. The LA Galaxy conceded 1.9 goals per match. That was 28th in the league. They held 3 clean sheets. That was dead last. Defensive metrics that will shock most teams, but if you're not able to keep clean sheets and you're not able to keep the ball out of the back of your net at a rate that high, look, you're not going to win a lot of games. And this is where this crux of this new adaptation and this new formation come into play. The second thing is the offense. The offense wasn't firing much of last season, and that partially comes down to Riqui Puig and him not being there. But I thought that a lot of the year, it came down to possession without purpose. And the Galaxy found themselves with the ball a lot, but not a lot of creativity and not a lot of output. There wasn't a lot of players in the box. There wasn't a lot of people in right areas. I mean, look, the goal numbers are speaking for themselves. For one of the best offenses in the league to turn into 1.4 goals a game, which was 18th, to hold 54.3% possession, which was the 4th highest in the league, to have your top goal scorer have 10 goals when the season prior it was much more, and the top assist person, which was Marco Reus, to have 8, the next closest being Mickey Yamane, who's a defender, you're in a world of trouble. But the Galaxy brought in 2 players before the Riqui Puig injury that I think may have changed the style anyways. The first being Jakub Glesnes, a destroyer center back. The guy that you look at and you go, that's the guy that I want defending my net. Defending in general. He's going to sit in the middle of the park in a back 3. He's a right-footed center back, so he's going to be more comfortable on that side of the foot. But I think that he plays a central role regardless. At his 6'2" height and frame, this guy is going to be your anchor. And when you look at the Galaxy and how they've been successful defensively during the championship run, but just in general with Greg Vanney, the player that's been that destroyer kind of anchor has been Maya Yoshida. The legs aren't there, but you can see in the structure how that'll work. Now, Glesnes is good on the ball. I wouldn't say he's necessarily great, but the thing that he does really well is he's just able to get the ball to the right spots. And I think that his ability to just pass to the sides in the new formation will be a huge addition. But if you go look at his defensive contribution numbers, this guy's he's almost a brick wall. He's fucking awesome. And that makes this whole change possible. Now, the second thing that makes this change really possible is the second addition, which is Haak. This is your ball-playing center back. In a Pep Guardiola system, he's your John Stones. While I have reservations on him being able to play at that level, this is a guy that is naturally played in both the 6 and as a center back. He's left-footed, which pairs perfectly with Glesnes, but also pairs perfectly with Emilio Garces. These 2 players are what change this entire thing. And when you look at Haak's progressive passing numbers and his chances created, he pretty much led the MLS in both. 15 chances created at center back is no joke. And this guy can step into the midfield. These 2 things allow for the Galaxy to play in this new formation. But if you weren't sold on the idea of that yet and you wanted to see them kind of do what they did last year, here are some images. The first is the first goal in the comeback draw that we had at BMO Stadium. But the first image is Mickey Yamane losing possession and the Galaxy immediately falling into the thing that they always fall into, which is when they have all that possession, they are easy to get at on the counter. And a lot of people talk about rest defense. I want you to take in this image here and really look at it. Yamane gets skinned. The Galaxy have 4 players back, taking on some of the best transition players in the league. Garces, Yoshida, Aude, and Edwin Cerrillo, followed by Joseph Paintsil on the far right. Of those players, you've got a slow center back going against pace, and you've only got one rest defender. So when your rest defense is followed by personnel issues combined with just a lack of shape, this is going to constantly happen. Within the same game, we look at the second image. The Galaxy again lose the ball in a forward area. Miki Yamane is following the play. Sanabria is following the play. And it leads to the Galaxy's two wingers having to track back, and the Galaxy have no shape. This is the same style of play. The Galaxy don't have the ball out of possession. They're in like a 4-2-4, but they're also in a 3-back. There was no fluidity. That's not how this works. When you have rest defense and Edwin Cerrillo is being asked to be really godly in the 6 position, a solo 6 is... we're talking about the best 6s in the world having to do this job. We're talking about Moises Caicedo. Not even Arteta and Arsenal play that style. They have Rice and Zubamendi. Asking players to do that role, you are almost asking for a Rodri Ballon d'Or year. Edwin Cerrillo is not going to give you that. You have to partner him. You have to have rest defense. These two images, combined with the last image, which was against DC in a 2-1 win, we find the same issues. The Galaxy lose the ball. They only have 5 men behind the ball here, but it's all stagnant. It's not a good formation. I mean, Miki Yamane is lazy to the first ball. Edwin Cerrillo is playing in a center back position, which isn't natural for him. Emilio Garces is trying to tag a man, and Yoshida's following Benteke on the play. It leads directly to a run in behind and a goal for DC United. This happened all year, and when you're that bad defensively, some of that comes down to just tactics and not being set up properly. The Galaxy aren't nearly good enough offensively without either that DP or without Riqui for them to be as bad as they are defensively. And this is the main reason for the switch. Because I'm tired of seeing the Galaxy be bad defensively. I need them to become good. And the 2 additions that they started with indicate that they will start to do this. So now let's get into the new tactics. Because this is really the crux of why you're here. You want to know why and how the Galaxy are going to go from a 3-2-5 in possession and a 4-4-2 out of possession. So let's jump into it. Welcome to the JLA Tactics board. For anyone that doesn't know about this, you should absolutely get it if you're into tactics and that kind of nerdy stuff. Look, I'm no expert. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything about tactics, but I understand basic principles. And here we are, in the 4-4-2 out of possession. Interesting notes here, I do have Haak in the midfield, because I think that when the Galaxy are playing, they will ultimately look in this shape. When you are out of possession, the most basic principle is the 4-4-2 for you English-loving folk. Because what it does is it just gives you natural structure. You've got 4 defenders. You've got 2 competitive midfielders. Your wingers tuck in to help in wide spaces. And your pressing triggers are your 2 strikers. For the Galaxy in particular, when we're looking at this structure, Marco Reus, for the time being, before that becomes a DP10, so you'll understand the same principles looking at him. Same with Ramirez. Nascimento will be the placeholder here. These 2 guys are in charge out of possession of making life difficult. They're going to be your pressing trigger. So depending on the game, if let's just say we're going to put Yoshida here, their right-sided center back is poor. Nascimento is going to be the pressing trigger there. Everyone will fall into line. The beauty of this is just the basic structure. You're not going to ask them to do anything crazy, but you're going to play to their strengths. The Galaxy have very good wingers in terms of pace. And they're combative. They're feisty. Let them get into the action here. Let them be helpful in wide areas, while also locking down the middle of the park. The Galaxy constantly got just thrashed open by runs through the middle here, or by just intricate passes in the middle where Cerrillo was on an island alone. By adding Haak into the midfield here and having this block, you change a lot of things for the Galaxy. So that's the basic 4-4-2 out of possession. I'm going to show you one version and then the second version right after. Welcome to the 3-2-5. A beautiful modernized formation picked by Pep Guardiola. He's the one that really revolutionized this formation. And the beauty of it is the one thing that I have been most concerned about, which is defense. Look, the LA Galaxy have so much talent in the forward line here. Peck, Nascimento, Royce, Paintsil, Aude. These guys can do a ton for you. And whenever they get that DP10 or if they go with the 9, like someone will get better in these positions and you'll have flexibility and you'll be able to work with those strikers. The beauty of it is you're getting 5-on-4s in a lot of senses. Or if they're playing a 5-back, you're getting a lot of one-on-one opportunities. The thing that it really, really does and what's going to be super helpful is it allows you to create extra man opportunities. Because you've got these spaces, you can move Cerrillo up. Or, my personal preference, and this is why I think they're going to run with Yamane, is you allow Mickey Yamane to get into these spaces. And it becomes super box-like. It's a really cool formation. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can drop in Nascimento here. Then you've got this box 4 with the 4 of them. You can do this with Paintsil. You can do it with a lot of people. But it puts the Galaxy's best attackers in their best spots. Gabriel Peck, in my opinion, was way too deep last season in possession. He'd grab the ball here. He'd race up the line. It's just not a good spot for him. In these instances, it puts him in wide spaces one-on-one with defenders to attack. So he can either go down the byline, put in a cross, or he can cut inside and take the shot. There's a lot of opportunities here. And my personal opinion is Paintsil is one of our best finishers. He is a little wasteful when he's in one-on-one isolation. So what does this do? It puts Paintsil in spots where he's going to not be isolated. He's going to be inside. He can cut this way, right? The ball comes with him across goal. Or he cuts inside on his favorite foot. Boom. Or boom. Then you got Marco Reus making runs in behind. Where was he great last year? Kind of as a second striker. Him and Nascimento can be fluid. Offensively, you just become more dynamic. You become more dangerous. And also, it's just more fluid. You become better transitionally. There's just a lot more you can do. But that's not where this becomes important for the Galaxy. Because I'm not worried about the offense. I think it will get better. I just naturally think they were playing better at the end of the season. And they just stepped below their own Mendoza line, and they were just poor. But defensively, this is it. Look at the rest defense of this team when you play in the 3-2-5. You've got 5 players back at all times. And even if it's not that, let's just say Yamane pushes up or Cerrillo pushes up, you've got 4 defenders right there constantly. And you've got one of the fastest players on the wing. You've got one of the best ball-playing left-sided center backs in the world who can also push up. Man, you just become way better at neutralizing counterattacks. Because if the ball gets turned over, look what it is. You're just better set up for these experiences. Glesnes can clear out space. Haak can clear out space. And if it transitions where the ball gets swung out wide, look at how easy it is for them to get back. You can even drop this. Right? You've just got so many more options. It's a much more fluid dynamic for the way that the Galaxy are going to play. And when you have that much possession, you almost need the extra players and the extra personnel. No more counterattack goals. That will be my number 1 target for this season for this Galaxy team, is for them to stop conceding on the counter. Now I'm going to show you a second variation of the same exact thing. The structures and the principles are the exact same with the second variation, but the personnel is different. In the second one, I'm going to change the fullbacks. I'm going to put in Cuevas, and I'm going to put in John Nelson for Aude and Yamane. I think those pairings kind of go together really well. In a 4-4-2, it's the exact same thing. Haak stays in the midfield for me. But the main difference is when you get out of possession. And this is really where the Galaxy are going to get to try it. And they have some dynamics. So if you're playing a team with a bad left side, you go to this. You just go to this because look what it looks like in the 3-2-5. You push everyone forward. And your midfield becomes Haak and Cerrillo. Nelson becomes your left-sided center back. Garces remains in that right side. So you've still got that same rest defense. It's not changing the principles, just where the personnel is playing. Haak becomes your deep-lying 6, your destroyer. Cerrillo's asked to be a little more advanced. You move Paintsil out to the wing, where he does the same thing that I was talking about with Peck. Nascimento, again, the box stuff. Him and Royce become that fluid kind of striker, second striker situation. But you move Gabriel Peck inside with a guy that was top 10 in expected assists per 90 in Mauricio Cuevas. He becomes that early ball inside. he becomes the line breaker coming down the side. I actually think that he does this a little better than Aude, and this is what I expect Aude to do on the left side, but he becomes this wing runner. He becomes the link-up play with Peck. He can cut inside, take a shot. I really like this formation. I think that against better defensive teams, this could be something to go to, or against teams that are more transitional, kind of same thing. There's just a lot that you can do, and that's the beauty of it. Like I said, I'll get more into the weeds with this as we continue, because I need more sample size with the LA Galaxy doing it. I'm hoping to see some in Coachella so I can kind of break it down a little further, but this is how you do it. This is how the Galaxy adapt to not having Riqui Puig. If you made it this far, I hope you can see that. I hope you can see that the Galaxy were awful defensively and that they needed to change their shape, but never did. Maybe because of personnel. Maybe because Greg Vanney was just stubborn in his ways. But when you're as bad as you were last year and you lose your star again and you're not going to have him, you have to adapt one way or the other. This 3-2-5 and 4-4-2 out of possession shape allows the Galaxy to be better both defensively and I think offensively. But only time will tell. And we'll see if Greg Vanney even thinks this is worth a look. Obviously, he's the coach and he knows better. But I'd love to see this. I just think that it would be a fantastic addition to what the Galaxy are currently doing. But I'm curious. If you made it this far, let me know. What do you think of this formation? Do you think the Galaxy could even do something like this? Is it too advanced? Or do you like it? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you're new here and you've just stumbled upon your first C.O.C. Network Galaxy video, welcome. And hopefully you like this and you want to comment or subscribe or like and do all the fun stuff. Hit the notification bell. We're going to have daily content about the Galaxy coming out pretty much every week now. And if you like the Premier League, you want to see some stuff on that, go ahead and check out our other podcast, Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. I love doing this stuff. So please, if you like what you see, comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. And in the next video, hopefully I'll have some more data to break down. But until that next video, peace.